We live right now. Just give me a second. Give me a second. All right. Yeah. You live. All right. I want to start off by giving all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Khan, I want to say double honor to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone. Double honor to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone for teaching this word and truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to our fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, this is the brother Gabar Yahweh.
The brothers
Khan, and we're two of the three brothers from GMS Hawaii. And we're coming to do a lesson. And today's lesson is entitled, Our Lord Did Not Follow the Gregorian Calendar. Okay, and the reason for the inspiration for this video is today, as I was coming home, I was out and about and I was driving back home and I was about to turn the corner and I end up seeing IUIC standing at the corner at the bus stop, basically holding camp, or they were holding camp. And you know, the curbs in my area is really, really small. So they basically took up the majority of that area. So I was like, why are they preaching, or why are they holding camp at a bus stop? You know, and then on another thing too, consistency, because they're not always out there. Like if you go to their page, if you go to IUIC Hawaii, you don't never see their camp, their camp out there pushing heavy like that. Now the leader of their camp, he told me that they go to different places to hold camp. So I'm not sure if they got a different website where they put their camp videos up. But if you go to their main page, what is it, IUIC Hawaii, you're not going to see them out there every week, man. You know, and that's another thing too. Their consistency is lax. And on another thing, their doctrine is off, man. You know, like, but I did tell their leader or their head of their camp, Apostle Tahar said that we're all telling them, our people, that we're Israelites, but y'all just go off on certain things, like the majority of these other camps. See, Great Millstone does have the 100% truth, and you can tell when you start dealing with these other camps. If you started, I didn't even really, I had talked to the brothers Zaab prior to going out there, and brothers Zaab told me not to, basically don't get into it with them. Just go out there and listen to what they saying. So that's exactly what I did. And it was a couple of points where they were saying something, and I was like, kind of wanted to interject, but then I just kind of the Spirit had me held my tongue, and one thing that they were going off while I was standing out there was the name of the Lord, which his name is Yahweh Shai. It's not Christ. It's not Jesus. No one ever called Yahweh Shai Jesus, Christ, or Isis when he walked the earth. Nobody. Okay? That's not the name given to the Israelites to be saved. Another thing they went off on was they go off on a mark of the beast, which they didn't even get into that. I was going to ask the question, but I could tell that dude didn't want to deal with me. He kept talking to this old bottle, this old guy. He looked like a derelict. He was just trying to edify this guy. And I would give it to that dude that he was standing there listening. But like, come on, like, you're not going to wake him up. And then the leader told me that they're out here trying to wake their people up. And I said, well, it's not about the nation, and because I had also told them that the scripture said we got to go to the chief place of concourse. And if you ever been to my neighborhood, you know that it's not the chief place of concourse, man. And it's just like them Israelites that say, let's go to the ghetto. That's not a chief place of concourse. Yeah, the majority of our people are in there, but people are not buying and selling like that. And if you live in an area where multiple, jakes are out there like that, guess what? You still gonna go to the place of concourse, which is normally like a marketplace. And so this place where I live is not a marketplace. I told him, I was like, hey man, this is a desert up here, bro. You know, you ain't gonna wake nobody up out here, man. You know, but I told him, like, really, in reality, wherever we teach at is just a backdrop anyway at this point, because the word is already out there. So we use a lot of the areas that we go to pretty much for backdrop while we preach the truth. So I said, I will give it to y'all. Y'all out here, y'all doing the work, but you know, you're going off, man. And can you get the scripture where it says a little leaven, the whole lump, Baba Gashah? So Salakia for being, you know, a little long-winded. I just kind of wanted to give you a summary of the reason why this, for the inspiration of this video, you know.
This is Galatians chapter 5, verse 9. It says, "A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump."
God, is there anything else on that?
I'll read verse 10. It says, "I have confidence in you through the Lord that you will be none otherwise minded, but he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be."
Yeah, because you got IUIC, they have troubled the men of the Lord, man. Now, maybe not those guys in this particular camp specifically, but IUIC, they have their leaders, man. You know, trouble the men of the Lord, man, and that's not going to go overlooked. And as you deal with them, which we try not to deal with these other camps, man. Normally, when we see them, we try to ignore them, but the Spirit just jumped on me to like, yo, go down there, you know, after, you know, speaking to the brother about it, because just to see what they were talking about, man, see if anything changed. And nothing has changed over there, man. They still using the Christ name. They still going off on a lot of the major doctrine. And like the scripture said, a little leaven, it leavens the whole lump, man. So the lump would be the truth. But if you got leaven in that lump, okay, additives, you know, because yeast is, I think it's a rising agent. So use that to make the bread get bigger. You don't need to use extra words for the scriptures to get bigger. That the bread, which is the word, is good enough. As good as it is, man. It's unleavened, man. There's no leaven in it, man. You know, so if you got the truth, but you put some lies in it, some couple dabs of lies, guess what? It's gonna make the truth diluted, man. So you got half truth, or you got a truth mixed with lies, man. And that's not what we're supposed to be feeding our people. We're supposed to be giving our people the whole truth, man. It is more than just knowing you're an Israelite. It's more than just saying, hey, brother, you're an Israelite. Wake up, follow the laws, man. What about the rest of the stuff, man? Why are you not warning our people about? See, the difference is if I videotape a little bit of it. Let me see if I can show you. I'll show you, brother. I videotaped a little bit of it, and right here, man. It's like 16 seconds, but I'll just play a little bit of it.
Egypt again with ships, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So just like I was telling the brother here, the word Egypt is a Greek word that means bondage or slavery, captivity, slavery, bondage. That's what Egypt means. It's not how we think of it when we look at the map and we say, oh, that's the land.
Yeah, so that was them standing out there right up on the street of my the corner of my block or whatever, you know. And like I said, Salakia,
Right here.
yeah, like it's pretty much a desert, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you're not gonna wake nobody up out here, man. And really, all we concerned with is waking up the elect. And when we speak the word, you're gonna know the difference if you watch GMS Hawaii versus IUIC Hawaii, man. One, we're gonna give you the 100% truth, man. We're gonna be out there at the marketplace, you know, in a place of concourse, cheap concourse, at the openings of the gate, man. You know, you got it, brother.
Yeah, Karen, but you know, like the brother said, like the IUIC members said that they that Yahushua followed the Gregorian calendar, and then, you know, us being men of the Lord, you know, we're gonna research, you know, everything that, you know, we hear. So we did a quick Google of the Gregorian calendar and found out that it was invented in 1582. Was it? So what
Yeah,
it
I got it. I'll get it. Yeah, it says the Gregorian calendar was the Gregorian calendar introduced in 1582 by Pope Gregory the 13th as a modification of the Julian calendar.
Yeah, so I mean, unless Yahushua was walking around then you know he might he might have followed it, but I mean that's just folly, man. Because I mean, hey, that's 1582 A.D. I mean, anybody with a logical brain knows that A.D. stands for something.
Yep. Yeah, I think
You know these.
Yep, the year of our Lord or after the death, something like that. So, yeah, man, they're bugged out, man. And like they say, see, you can say that to a bunch of people that's not going to look up the truth, that's not really going to look up what you say. Like for that dude to say that, show me that he has an extreme lack of understanding, man. You know, because there's no way, you know, in the world that Yahweh Shai followed the Gregorian calendar. And on top of that, he lived during the time of the Romans, and he didn't follow that calendar, man. He followed the Israelite lunar calendar, man. All the high holy days that he followed, what he had the Passat, you know, you had the feast of all the different feasts that we have, and Yahweh Shah was perfect. So he didn't not follow those high holy days, man. And you can't follow the Roman calendar and be like, oh yeah, you know, today is a high holy day, man. You gotta follow the lunar calendar, man. You know, and it wasn't like they had a calendar sitting on the wall like 30 days here, 29 days here. They knew the calendar, man. Our people back then, they knew what day was what, man. And they didn't follow a Monday through Sunday day. It was day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7, man. The names of the week, the names of the week, there were none back for the Israelites. There was some in Rome, but as far as the Jews and the Jews in Israel, they had the first day, the second day, you know. That's how they did it. And they tell time, it, you know, like what is it, the third hour, the second hour of the day, something like that. So they knew they had a concept of time too. But the point of the matter is he followed the lunar calendar, man. He didn't follow no damn Gregorian calendar. And I wish I would have videotaped it or I would have caught that on there. But, you know, like I said, you know, the Spirit didn't have me do that, man. But, you know, I was able to come back and give a report. You know? So, yeah, he was hella excited. So I'm like, yeah, you know, Christ followed the Gregorian calendar. Because I said, no, they had a lunar calendar. I said the Romans had 8 days in a week, man. You know? So he was like, no, the Christ followed the Gregorian calendar. Well, you going off, man. Because it says right here, the Gregorian calendar is the calendar used in most of the world. Today, it is named after Pope Gregory the 13th, who introduced it in October 1582. Can you get the scripture where Isaiah 29 and 16?
Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 16. It says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had an understanding?
You can break it down, brother.
Yeah, man, they're basically trying to turn things upside down, man. You know, trying to say that Howard Shai, you know, followed the Gregorian calendar, which wasn't even invented back then. Yeah. Like, this dude is way out of his mind. And then I got something in First Maccabees.
Come on, brother.
This is First Maccabees chapter 10, verse 34. It says,
oh yeah, Salaki. Before you bring that out, Salaki, because they try to go to that. They were looking for that, but they couldn't find it. He was like, it's somewhere in Maccabees to show us. He tried to prove to me that they had a Saturday and Sunday, and you know, but they couldn't find it. So you know what he told me? He's like, man, we're not gonna deal with that right now. Forget it. Don't worry about it. And he just started talking to that Jake, man. He didn't want to talk to me, man.
Well, anyways,
ahead,
First Maccabees chapter 10, verse 34, it says, "Furthermore, I will that all the feasts and Sabbaths and new moons and solemn days and the 3 days before the feast and the 3 days after the feast shall be all of immunity and freedom for all the Jews in my realm." Verse 35, "Also no man shall have authority to meddle with or to molest any of them in any matter." So right there, it's telling you, it's breaking down, you know, the Sabbaths, the 3 days before and the 3 days after, meaning those 6 days in between the Sabbath. You know, those are your work days, and on the seventh day, you know, you rest. And then it says, "But also no man shall have authority to meddle with or to molest any of them in any matter." So you can't change the fact of it, man. You know, that was written in the law. You
what
know,
was that at? First Maccabees, what, brother?
10 and starting at 34.
Fine, brother. Yeah, you got it.
But yeah, I mean it and new moon, like you can find new moon Sabbaths in Isaiah, Ezekiel, which I'll get this one in Ezekiel for chapter 46, starting at verse 1. It says, "Thus saith the Lord power, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open." You know, also showing that the new moon is its own high holy day, and the new moon dictates the new month. All right, and it's separate from a regular Sabbath. I'm going to jump to verse 3 because verse 2 just
call it and read it again, brother.
Ezekiel 46 and 1. "Thus saith the Lord power, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and in the day of the new moon it shall be opened."
Huh.
And then verse 2 talks about the duties of the priest. And then I'm going to read verse 3. It says, "Likewise the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before the Lord in the Sabbaths and in the new moons."
There you go. There you go. Again, likewise, the people of the land shall worship in the door of this gate before Yahweh in the Sabbaths and in the new moons, man. It don't say nothing about no damn Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, because we following this Gregorian calendar, right? Hey, the new moon can possibly fall on a Friday or Saturday. It's done that before, but that's not it's not dictated by the day of Friday and Saturday, because Esau tell you that it's it's the 7th day of the week, you know. So you should just go, you know, have your weekend and do your thing, man. So the Hebrew word there for the word new moon is chadash, which is new moon, monthly, the first day of the month, the lunar month. Let's look up what a lunar month is, man, because you got a lunar year. Matter of fact, I'll just type in lunar year. Because a lunar year is a period of 12 lunar months, approximately 354 days, man. Which Rome ended up following a lunar calendar, because they were following the lunar calendar, but they were going off because they had to add months, in which we're going to get into that too. It says the lunar calendar is a calendar based upon the monthly cycles of the moon's phase, and this is what we use to find out what day we in, man, or when a new moon is. All right. If you want to know when the new moon is, you got to look at you got to watch the cycle of the moon, man. It says a lunar calendar is a calendar based upon the monthly cycle of the moon's phases. in contrast to to solar calendars, whose annual cycles are based only directly upon the solar year. The most common used calendar, the Gregorian calendar, is a solar calendar. Come on, bruh. Come on, son. It says it's a solar calendar system that originally, you wonder why it's a solar calendar, because they're sun worshipers, man.
Mm-hmm.
Pope Gregory the 13th, he was a sun worshiper, man. The Catholic Church, they're sun worshipers, man. You see? But this nigga said it. He said Christ followed the Gregorian calendar, so we're gonna follow the Gregorian calendar. Nah, man.
Yeah, and also they changed to the Gregorian calendar from the Julian calendar, was because the Gregorian calendar would line up with the winter solstice and the Easter day, which are both pagan holidays. You know, so why would why would he condone that? It's like, oh yeah, let's just follow this calendar. Yeah, the moon is off. We'll follow the Gregorian calendar. I mean, it's folly, man.
Yep. That's all. And I got a precept, brother. This is 1 Corinthians. Man, that's the spirit too. How all these scriptures just be coming out of nowhere, and yeah, we have some of this stuff, this information we didn't even have, and the Lord is bringing it up, man. Why do you have about too much time? This is 1 Corinthians 14:33. For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints, man. You know, so the Most High, oh, you got it, brother.
Well, yeah, the only reason why, like, I remember when I first heard about the lunar calendar, that, you know, the Sabbath, it lines up with the moon. The only reason why I thought it was confusing is because, you know, I was already confused with the Gregorian calendar, you know? But when you really think about it, like, hey, I got this scripture, Psalms 104:19. It says, he appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his going down. You know, I mean, if you think about it, like, even in Genesis, it tells you that he created a light and a lesser light for times, you know, and, you know, the moon, you know, orbits the earth, you know, on a cycle, man, just like the sun does. You know, those were created to look up and, you know, to see what the time was. You know, not having to memorize this weird mathematical chart that changes every, you know, once every 4 years. You know, February all of a sudden has 30 days every 4 years. And then you have to remember which months have 30 and 31 days.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense, man. But, you know, the natural cycle of, you know, times changing, you know, the stars will look a certain way during one season. You know, the moon will be at a certain phase, or you know, throughout the month. You know, when it's winter, you know, trees start changing. Here in Hawaii, you know, the you know, trees are green all year round because it's a tropical climate, but there's still weather changes. Like, even the tide on the North Shore gets, like, really fucking big during the winter, and then it gets really calm during the summer. During the summer, the south south side gets really big, then it gets calm during the winter. So there's always, you know, natural things or natural things you can dictate the time, man. So it makes more sense to go off the new moon, you know, the sun, instead of this bullshit ass Gregorian calendar, man.
God, it's like we're living in the Matrix. The scene where Morpheus told Neo, hey, we don't know what year it is, but we do know, you know, it's a few decades or whatever after they scorched the earth, the sky or whatever, you know, but that's how we is. We don't really know what year we in, man. You know, they say that it's 2019, but every 4 years they have a leap year. And on top of that, the calendar is off. It's a solar calendar. So it's not following the moon cycle. So you don't really know what time in the year we in, man. I got a precept real quick, man.
Okay.
It's Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times in the dividing the times, man. Okay, so that's what this dude does. Since he's been in power, he has done that. He seek to change times and laws, and we're showing you this. We're showing you this with this the definition of a lunar calendar, which the lunar calendar is what the Israelites follow, man. We didn't follow no goddamn solar calendar. You know, it says back in this article, it says the most common used calendar, the Gregorian calendar, is a solar calendar system that originally evolved out of a lunar calendar system. A purely lunar calendar is also distinguished from the lunar solar calendar, whose lunar months are brought into alignment with a solar year through some process of intercalation. The details when months begin varies from calendar to calendar, and some using new full or crescent moons and others employing detailed calculations. Since each lunation is approximately 29 days, 12 hours and 44 minutes, it says 3 seconds, or 29.53588 days. It says its calendar loses around 11 days per year relative to the Gregorian calendar. In purely lunar calendars like the Islamic calendar, the lack of intercalation causes the lunar months to cycle through all the seasons of the Gregorian year over the course of a 33 lunar year cycle. Although the Gregorian calendar is in common and legal use in most countries, traditional lunar and lunar solar calendars continue to be used throughout the old world. And remember, we're in a new world, man. So they're using a whole different method to tell time, man. Why? Because he's seeking to change times, man, and laws. You know, you see that with this devil, you know, granting homosexuals and lesbians rights and protection through the law. You know, it says I'm just trying to see. So you got the length of the lunar month and a list of lunar calendars. The Yoruba, which that shows you that these dudes were Israelites, man, following the lunar calendar, man. The Yoruba, the Igbo. Why? Because those are Israelites, man. In West Africa, man.
And not meaning to cut you off, but in the 1611, at the very beginning, you know, it has the calendar, and it has, you know, January through December, but right under it, it says, you know, the moon, and it counts how many days were in the moon cycle, and it lines up with the days that are in that month. So even, you know, King James and his crew, you know, and it's either 30 or 29, you know, and that's why they say, you know, the moon cycles 29.5 days. It's because some months have 29 and then some go 30. That's why, you know, when you practice the new moon, you'll either have, you know, 1 day in between the last Sabbath of the month for when that new moon comes in. You might have 2 days in between, but, you know, it might vary a little bit between 1 or 2, but, you know, rarely does it ever, man. But you got it, bro.
Yeah, I was looking at it too, and it says March hath 31 days, the moon 30 days. It says February have 28 days, the moon 29 days, and then, you know, it just goes on to these different days. You know, January, like even January got 31 days, right? It says January have 31 days, the moon it has 30 days. You see? So yeah, man, like, so this shows you that IUIC is off, man. IUIC this is another reason why the apostles and the elders say that we here at Great Millstone, we have the 100% truth, man, because nobody else is bringing this up, man. And they ain't the only ones that follow the Sabbath on a Friday and Saturday. ISUPK do the same thing. I think HOI do it too. And when we bring up the new moon, they don't want to fight it. They don't want to bear with us, man. They want to fight us, man. Okay, they want to tell us that no, we're wrong. We should supposed to follow Friday to Saturday. But again, the Gregorian calendar is it's a solar calendar. It's not even a lunar calendar. And two, that the fact that it was brought up in 1582 shows you that Yahweh Shai didn't use it, man. So those dudes ain't got it, man. Those dudes ain't got it. This is I looked this up. This is the Hebrew calendar, parts 1 and part 2 by John Ogwin. It says, does the Bible give guidelines regarding the calendar we should use in observing God's festivals? If so, what are those guidelines and where do we find them? First, let us ask whether the calendar should be based on physical sighting of the new moon or whether it should be based on calculation. Some argue that the only valid way to begin a new month is to actually see the faint crescent of the new moon. Does the Bible resolve this argument? Absolutely. The Hebrew word chadash in translation month is most English language Bible is in most English language Bibles. The roots meaning involves making new or repairing. The moon orbits the earth, going through phases as its position changes in relation to the sun. In the earth, approximately every 29 and a half days, the moon comes into exact conjunction between the earth and the sun. It says, and the three orbs are in a straight line with one another, though not necessarily on the same plane. The conjunction, the moon is totally dark, reflecting none of the sunlight. As it moves westward, away from conjunction, it again begins to reflect light. Depending on the observer's location and the Earth's position at conjunction, the new moon will generally be visible until 1 or 2 days after the conjunction. Note that basing the new month upon physical sightings of the new moon will require keeping the Feast of Trumpets for 2 days. An observer cannot know in advance on which day he might see the new moon. Depending upon the exact time conjunction, he might see the crescent on either the 30th or the 31st day of the last new crescent, since days begin at sunset. That's another thing, because when do the days start in the solar calendar? In the daytime, which really the day starts at when the sun goes down, man. So really, like right now would be the beginning of the day. Well, not just now, but when the sun went down about 2 hours ago, 6 o'clock, that's the beginning of the day. This is, and observers would have to keep the 30th day after the new crescent of Elul, the 6th month, as holy time, as they might see the new crescent that evening, though they would more commonly see it on the following evening. It says, for this reason, even the land of Israel, Jews who followed the Pharisees' tradition observed Feast of Trumpets for 2 days back to back without making it a 2-day celebration to ensure the right day is observed. So guess what? They were following the lunar calendar, not no goddamn Gregorian calendar, man. It was impossible to base the celebration of the Feast of Trumpets, the first day of the 7th month, on a physical sighting of the new moon. Yet, upon examining Leviticus 23 and Numbers 29, it is clear that the Feast of Trumpets must be observed for 1 day rather than 2. This alone mandates a calculation calendar in which the new moon day is determined in advance. And you had that. And one of the tribes, they were known for reading the stars really well, man. And that was the tribe of Issachar, man. Mm-hmm. They was the ones that would tell us when the new moon was coming in, when the Sabbath, was, and all the high holy days, because they were the ones that was reading the stars, man.
And that's the problem with Jake, man, because they think, before America was established, that everybody was just, dumb cavemen, savage tribes living. But no, man, we were smart back then. Like, we knew how to count, All right. And then we noticed a pattern. All right. Today it took about 29 days for the new moon to come in. Oh, and this month it was about 30. It's it might be 29, 30 the next time, and then they'd see the moon going down, and then sure enough, the new moon came 29 and a half days, and then they start seeing the moon increasing, man. But Jake is just so stuck into this, westernized mindset. They don't want to, sacrifice, their weekday to try to practice the Sabbath. You know, they're so stuck on, that weekend bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Celebrating the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, which goes back to Saturn and the sun god.
God, and this is since you brought that up, this is where did I put it at? Right here. This is off of Nicholson1968.com. It says this is about Saturn worship, man. So it says Saturn worship, the black cube. And it says you might not know it, but the entire world has been worshiping Saturn for thousands of years. The cult has never stopped, and its rites are still present today. Saturn, dubbed the Lord of the Rings, is a reason why we exchange rings in weddings or put halos on in heads of godly people. This article exposes the attributes of the god Saturn and the perpetuation of his cult. It says it says through pop culture. Since ancient times, sage gazed at the stars, admiring their heavenly glow, and attributed them godly powers based on their effect on humans. Before the Great Flood, Saturn was regarded by all mankind as a supreme god and ruler of the kings. Occult researchers affirm that Saturn ruled the kingdom of Atlantis and became a divine ancestor of all earthly patriarchs and kings. The cult has been perpetuated through numerous gods during the antiquity: Kronos or Saturn, Dionysus, Atlas, prehistoric nations, and Egyptian mythology. Isis is considered Saturn's eldest daughter. And then, they show this, United Nations. And Saturday, I always also looked up the names of the week, the different names of the week. Salakia. Salakia, brother, just bear with me. Yeah, the 7 days of the week. And it says right here, it says Saturday, Saturn's Day. It says Saturday, Saturn's Day. Middle English Saturday, Old English Saturn, Saturn's Day. Latin, Die Saturnia, Day of Saturn. Saturn is the Roman Italic god of agriculture and a consort of Ops. He is believed to have ruled the earth during an age of happiness and virtue. Cronus is the Greek god Titan who ruled the universe until being dethroned by the son of Zeus, man. By his son Zeus. So yeah, so that's what that is. Like the brother was mentioning, you don't even know what Saturday means, man. Just like Jake don't know what none of these days, man. Friday. You got Friday, which in English is Friday. It says Frio is identical with Frio, meaning free. It is from the Germanic frias, meaning beloved, belonging to the loved ones, not bondage, not in bondage, free. Hey, that's why when Friday comes, what niggas do? They break from work, man. They free from work. Oh, I'm free. I got the weekend to myself. I'm free to do whatever I want. And they do what? They go get drunk. And they commit all kinds of wickedness. They just do whatever, man. Mm-hmm. Like the brother was saying, even on Saturday, if Saturday was the so-called Sabbath for you, why you don't observe it, man? Saturday just another day for niggas to do shit. Working, having sex with a woman, buying and selling, all of that. Now we live in such a shit so fucked up. All we can do is rehearse. Can you get Judges 11 and 26, or is it 5 and 26? I think it's 11. Judges 11. Judges.
While Israel dwelt.
No, Judges 5 and 11. Hold on. Yeah, Judges 5 and 11, brother.
Okay. All right, this is Judges chapter 5, verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers and the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his village in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
Yeah, so what we're doing right now, and those archers are the nuclear missiles, man. All right, noisome archers are the missiles, man. And the ones that are rehearsing the righteous acts are the elect, the hopeful elect, the elect. All right, and we're doing what? We're practicing it towards each other in our villages, wherever we at. You know, me and a brother, we're in a village, man. And we practice the same thing towards each other. So really, we're just rehearsing the righteous acts. We can't get it 100%. One, because we're in the middle of captivity. We got to go to this devil for the want of all things, everything. You know, we gotta suffer the man. You know, and through it all. But even still, we're practicing, man. In the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna get it perfect. Ain't nobody gonna be having a fucking party, getting drunk, fucking working on the Sabbath day, man. Them heathens, when they get in a hardcore slavery, they're gonna worship the Sabbath, man. Because that's gonna be a day we're gonna leave them alone. We ain't gonna beat them. We ain't gonna torture them. We ain't gonna work them. You know, they're gonna get an opportunity to heal, man. You know. And then what? Then the next day, when the sun go down, now it's on, man. You know, but that one day they're gonna get rest, man. You know, you got it, brother.
Yeah, kind of like you were saying, you can read about that in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, how all these other nations are going to come to the Israelites to inquire about the high holy days and, you know, basically how to conduct themselves under the law. But that's just a kind of a side note. Did you get that Ecclesiasticus or Sirach yet?
No, I'll get it right now. You want me to get it right now?
Yeah, 43, and you can start at 6.
Yeah, I started at 5, but I'm gonna start
Yeah,
at 5.
you can start at 5.
Con, this is Ecclesiasticus 43 and 5. Great is the Lord that made it, and his commandments it runneth hastily. He made the moon also to serve in her season, for at a declaration of times and a signs of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast. Sorry.
I was just going to say, verse 6 is plain. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of sign, or a declaration of times. You know, it has a pattern to it. That's all it's saying, and it is made for that purpose. You know, like the apostles always use this as an example. Like if you got shipwrecked and, you know, you lost count of the days, you know, how would you be able to tell, what season it was? You look up at the sky, you notice, what season it is, but you can keep reading that.
Fine. It says he made the verse 6, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Hey, so when it's a new moon, the light decreases, man. You can't see it. You can't really see the moon on a new moon when it's new, when she's perfection, when she's perfect, man. You can't see it. It says the beauty of the month is called after her name. That's why you get the word month, the month moon. It comes back the moon. Okay, the month is called after her name. increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, like Jake don't even realize that's where you get the word month from.
Yep.
And if you knew that, you might have, was like, wait, there might be, something up with this moon. Why did they call it? Why is it named after the moon? And it's like that's
Yep.
how you tell when the new month comes in. A new moon, new month. I mean, it's common sense. Like if you think about it. But Jake wants to be all deep. He wants to say, "Oh, well, the new covenant. You can, the Gregorian calendar." Blah, blah, blah. Like Jake's retarded, man.
Yep.
Like, he can't just, man. I mean, it's crazy. Like
You
that.
can't be right.
Going this
Jake can't be right, man.
Like we really shouldn't have to be going this in depth of saying that the moon dictates when the month comes in.
Yep.
But Jake's simple minded, man. We have to prove all
Yep.
things, so we will.
Man. That's right, man. And we don't have a problem doing it, man. We don't have a problem doing it because hey, it's just a part of the. It's a part of the work, man. And we're here to edify. So it says, so I typed in the Sabbath, and it has the new moon right here. New moon. It says the new moon occurring 29 or 30 days is an important. But he said dude tried to tell me that it wasn't about the new moon. We about the Gregorian calendar. This dude tripping, man. It says the new moon occurring every 29 to 30 days is an important, separately sanctioned occasion. It says in Judaism and some other faiths. It is not widely recognized as a Sabbath, but some Messianic and Pentecostal churches keep the day of the new moon as a Sabbath or rest day from evening to evening. New moon services can last all day, So come on, bro. They've been doing it. They've been following it as a new moon. New moon, and this is what a new moon looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. You can't see it, but you can just see the crest. The light shining off the crest. That's what the new moon looks like, man. Let's see. Leviticus 23:3. 6 days shall work be done. I'm sorry. This is Yep, I'll start at the top. And the Lord Yahweh Shemashah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children, the sons of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. In a holy convocation ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. I'm just looking for that word Sabbath. That word for Sabbath goes to the Hebrew word Shabbath, 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 or Shabbath. All right, and it's right, and it says Shabbath, the Sabbath, the Day of Atonement, Sabbath year, week, produce Sabbath. It says let me see. Just trying to see if it said anything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, man. Right there. And I have we already read the first Maccabees, and then the new moon or the new month. What was that? Likewise, Ezekiel 46:3 again, likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of his gate before the Lord in the Sabbaths, and in the new moons, man. Because like the new moon is different from the Sabbath. You can have a Sabbath ending, but then a new moon starts the next day. So you had the new moon, you had the Sabbath, man. But they both supposed to be holy, man. You treat the new moon as a Sabbath day. Like the new moon currently right now is Monday through Tuesday evening. And you can look at the Lunar Calendar, 2019 Lunar Calendar. The point of the matter is that our Lord Yahushua didn't follow a Gregorian calendar. He didn't follow, and we showed you that in this lesson. First of all, the Gregorian calendar didn't come about until the 1582. And Yahushua had already been back in the spirit world long before that. You know? So IUIC, you got that wrong. Right? So it says right now we in a new phase, December 25th. It says the new moon, the next new moon, the moon phase in the Honolulu, December 3rd to December 25th. Which is December 3rd? What day is that? December 3rd is a Tuesday. Yep. So right now we in it from Monday to Tuesday. Monday evening to Tuesday evening. That's one day. That's the new moon. Okay, and then it's up until the 25th. And the next new moon is going to be Wednesday evening. I'm sorry, the next new moon is going to be, Wednesday to Thursday, man. So Wednesday evening, sun going down, to Thursday evening, sun go down.
Oh, another quick point, if I may add. Up on the North Pole, like Alaska, towards the North Pole, like Alaska and stuff like that, the sun won't go down for like 3 months, you know? And then like during their winter time, the sun won't show for another 3 months. So how are you going to know, what day it is? You got to look at the moon.
Yeah.
But that's just another quick little, but the Earth's flat though. You got
Jake is through, man.
Yeah, Jake,
Hey,
if you think Yahushua, went by the Gregorian calendar, then you might as well believe in that flat Earth doctrine, man.
Yeah. Hey, but IUIC telling them people that the chip ain't the RFID chip. I mean the mark of the beast. So they already through, man. They bunch of like Elder Ariala said, them dudes are demons, man. Purple shirt wearing demons, man. And the leader of the kid, I'm not even gonna go in on that. I'll say that I talked to the brother about that offline, man. But those dudes are bugged out, man. Those dudes are straight up bugged out, man. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, these dudes ain't got it, man. They ain't got it, man.
They've been through, man. Like I remember back in Memphis, they had that March for Peace, and they made the news and everything, but then here they are screaming that it's wartime in unison, but they called it a March for Peace.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they just
off, man. It ain't got it. No, they don't got it. And I saw it today. Brother. Hey, so you got anything else, brother?
Nah, that's it.
All right, brother. Hey, so with that, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, crown and double honor to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone for teaching us his word and truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to our fellow Akim. Keep pushing, keep striving. We almost out of here. Hey, shalom.
Shalom.